Wow, this has been a hard video to film. I filmed it yesterday twice. Between camera issues and my rambling, the footage was unusable, so here we are again. Fingers crossed I can cover everything I want to say coherently and concisely. Not looking good for me so far. Those are not my skills or my strong suits. Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new here, hi, my name's Courtney and I like talking all things wavy curly hair. And imagine my surprise when I saw that a new series was coming out on HBO Max called Not So Pretty. This is a docuseries covering various scandals in the makeup, nail, skin, and hair care industries. The fourth episode is covering the hair care industry, specifically focusing in on the Diva Curl scandal that broke a couple of years ago. I do have a video talking about my thoughts on Diva Curl. If you haven't seen it, you are welcome to watch it. But I did notice that 3 of the girls in the episode I have watched online for many years. I have really enjoyed Spicia's videos and Hi Felicia and Stephanie Morano. I feel like I've learned a lot from them. So when I saw that they were in the episode, I was excited to see it. Now, keep in mind that I have no degrees, no certifications, and honestly, no qualifications whatsoever to be considered an authority on any of the topics in the episode. These are all my opinions. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Needless to say, I do have feelings and deep opinions because this documentary really hit me deeply. I did watch the entire series, all 4 episodes, and I watched the 4th episode talking all about the Diva Curl scandal. The first thing that stuck out to me as I'm sitting here watching this series is how little control we have over our products. Every time we purchase a product, we are entering into a good faith agreement with the company that produces that product, that they are giving us a safe quality product in exchange for our money. So you're in a good faith agreement, an unspoken agreement with that company every time you purchase something. Unless you want to spend exorbitant amounts of money to test each product you purchase every time you purchase it, you're not going to have 100% certainty about that product. You will have a guess. There is a level of trust that happens because it's not financially viable for you to test each product you purchase. At least not for me. This putting a trust into someone every time we consume a product or a good is something we have to do in order to function in modern society. We have to put trust in people at some point. We can do everything in our power to produce our own products, but unless you are completely cut off from society, you will at some point purchase something from someone. Example, let's say you want to make aloe vera gel for your hair, like as a styler. You can grow the plant from scratch to create your own hair gel, but chances are you purchase the seeds from somewhere, you purchase the soil, and you purchase the pot to grow the plant in. You probably didn't dig your own well for the water to water that plant either. See where I'm going with this? Now, mistakes happen. Mistakes in producing a product happen. I don't believe that companies intentionally set out to harm their customers. It doesn't make for good business. Now, while they are in the business of making money, there is a trade-off in producing a really quality product for the lowest cost possible. This allows the company to continue to produce the product. But if the quality suffers and their customers are adversely affected, they lose business. As a customer, however, it is incredibly devastating. It takes an incredible emotional toll on you when you put your faith in the product, put your faith in the company to provide you with a safe product, and that product betrays you and that product harms you. What happened to those girls in the episode when they shared everything they had been through? My heart broke for them. That was terrible. And as somebody who washes their hair for the internet, I am someone who likes testing out products and sharing with you guys what I think works and what doesn't. And this is fun for me, and I really appreciate and enjoy getting to hang out with you guys. But I kind of run into the same risks that those girls ran into. They were all so devastated that they had spent time and energy and their manpower in promoting DevaCurl products that wound up being harmful. That's terrifying that I'm also in that position, and I do not have full control over the product that you receive. I don't mix or blend the products. I don't source the raw ingredients. I don't mold the plastic containers that they show up in at your house. So when I recommend a product, I'm putting a lot of faith into the company and praying that a mistake doesn't happen, because mistakes do happen. And I don't want to be responsible for someone else having been caused harm. This is a really tough situation. This is the thoughts that I'm having as I'm sitting here watching this episode. All right, so the next thought that hit me is that we can do everything in our power to vote with our dollars well. We can put our money towards products that are fragrance-free, clean, in glass packaging. But even still, this isn't a 100% safeguard. Example, you purchase a product in glass packaging to avoid the pitfalls of BPA in plastics. Well, that final product may be in a glass packaging, but there's a good chance that the raw ingredients that went into the formulation of the product you purchased were shipped to the lab in plastic containers. Plastic is everywhere, so there's not a guarantee that something didn't leach into the product. Now, if what the episode said is true, it is crazy to me that there aren't any regulations in the hair care industry that require the companies to test their products. So what this does is it makes me want to purposefully seek out and invest in by purchasing products from companies that go above and beyond the regulations and go ahead and test their products anyway, that have really effective quality control. Really, I'm looking into this more, and I'm going to start talking more to companies that don't mind sharing that information with me about their quality control systems. Recently, I had something happen with a popular hair care brand. You are welcome to check out the video about it if you want, where a customer service representative of this brand admitted to me that the formula inside the bottle was not reflected by the ingredients label. I noticed that the ingredients label had changed, so I called customer service of this brand just to be like, hey, what gives? What happened? Why'd y'all change the formula? Because I saw the ingredients had changed on the label. I was told by the customer service representative that the formula hadn't changed at all. It was the same product. They had just updated the ingredients label to reflect the formula. What? You mean that I have been using a product that did not contain the ingredients that it said it did on the label? Now, I don't know what the laws are here. I don't know what the regulations are, but I did start looking into it, and there are some acts by the FDA that say that this is misrepresentation of a product and it's not okay, but I don't know how this is enforced. It's a huge, rude awakening to me as someone who has spent way too much time learning about ingredients, the chemical formulation of bihydramonium methyl sulfate, something that's found in a lot of conditioners. I have learned how to read ingredients labels, and what good does that do me if the ingredients labels aren't accurate? One of the most poignant comments of the episode that hit me right between the eyes is, of course we know that the industry preys on all women, but it is especially venal when it comes to women of color. Most women do feel the need to alter their appearance in some way, but I was previously unaware of the amount of chemical exposure that women of color go through every time they get their hair relaxed. And my heart goes out to them, and it also makes me so excited about the natural hair movement and how more and more women of color are embracing the hair that they are fearfully and wonderfully made with. This is something that I want everyone to do. I think it's awesome, and that's one of the reasons I'm here on the internet. I am doing what I can to encourage people in my small way to embrace their hair that grows out of their head. The natural hair movement is doing this in a much bigger, much more awesomer way. Now, hearkening back to what I said earlier about having to put your trust in somebody, there are benefits to living in society and not being completely cut off from everything and growing your own aloe vera from scratch. The same advancements in modern technology that have brought us medicine and helped humans live longer have created the trade-off of more chemicals being introduced into our everyday lives. That being said, I don't believe chemicals are bad. Technically speaking, water is a chemical, and we know we need water to live. How many times has someone told you to drink more water because it's good for you? On the flip side, just because an ingredient is labeled clean and organic doesn't automatically equal that it's good. Not all chemicals are bad, and not all clean, natural, raw, organic ingredients are good. Example, poison ivy is about as organic and non-GMO as it gets, but it's not good for me. I don't want to be rubbing it all over myself. Asbestos is a naturally occurring mineral. You can go dig it up out of the ground, and it causes cancer. Also, in the clean beauty industry, there is even less regulation on ingredients and quality control than in the standard beauty industry. As mentioned in the episode, every few years there is a new scandal that kind of pops up surrounding a hair care brand or a specific ingredient used in hair care. And in my opinion, it seems that ingredients are over vilified. Another example, sulfates are persona non grata in the curly hair community. They have a really bad rap. The thought process is that sulfates are a terrible ingredient. They will destroy your hair and eventually result in your ultimate ruin. However, sulfates are a tool, and if they are misused, they can lead to your hair being dried out. They can cause harm to your hair, but they also have incredible benefits when they're used well, when they're used correctly. They also have years and years and years and years of studies behind them proving their safety. Some of the sulfate substitutes that companies are now using in order to market their products as sulfate-free can be more drying, more stripping than a sulfate, depending on how they're formulated. And they have less testing on them due to their newness. Sulfates have been around for a long time, lots of testing, lots of studies about sulfates. Sulfate substitutes have only been around for a few years because sulfate-free products have only recently become really popular. The overarching solution that the whole documentary series proposed was more regulations on the industry, more laws, more penalties on companies for not following the rules. Well, I think that this does have some benefit. I do think that there are ways to make this work, but one of the pitfalls, one of the flip sides I see of this is that companies will just start producing their products in other countries, not in our own backyard. but in another country where there aren't the regulations and requirements and the testing and the vigilance and dedication to quality that we will be able to have here due to the regulations. And then through loopholes, the products be re-imported into the US. I just see that intensifying regulations will drive production to somewhere without regulations. Does that make sense? So while this does seem like a good idea, more regulations, it kind of does have some pitfalls. Each episode also recommended the solution of checking your products in clean beauty apps to make sure that they don't contain toxic ingredients. Well, first off, I personally have already run into companies not putting all their ingredients on the ingredients labels that are in their product. So checking the ingredients in a clean beauty app is a moot point. In fact, I actually checked the product that was mislabeled in the clean beauty app and it came back as mostly safe because it didn't contain all of the ingredients that were in the formula. Like, it's a moot point if we're checking ingredients labels and the ingredients labels aren't accurate. But also, I am extremely leery of these apps that tell you the toxicity of specific ingredients and tell you which ingredients are safe and which ones are harmful, because it doesn't take into consideration the concentration of the ingredient in the product from what I can tell. Also, I suspect that companies can pay for the stamp of approval from the Clean Beauty app. When all of this scandal broke about Diva Curl, I did take the advice of certain people to start using clean beauty apps to check my products. And being Courtney, I started voraciously memorizing which ingredients were toxic, which ingredients weren't, what ingredients each ingredient did. I just really started consuming this information, but I did eventually hit my limit and I started purchasing products with the stamp of approval from the Clean Beauty app because they had already checked it, right? Well, when for funsies, I turned the bottle over and started reading the ingredients label, assuming that the ingredients label was accurate, I noticed toxic, harmful ingredients in the products that contained the Clean Beauty stamp of approval. This leads me to suspect that companies could purchase the stamp of approval from these Clean Beauty apps in order to incentivize consumers to purchase. What I see happening in the clean beauty industry is opportunistic companies preying on the fears of consumers. This feels icky to me. Instead of the noble beginnings of the clean beauty industry to produce safe, high quality products, this insidious note crept in where we're preying on people who are afraid of being harmed by toxic ingredients. It's all marketing. The truth of the matter is that we live in a fallen world. Mistakes happen. Humans aren't perfect. And we are in a position to where we have to put our trust in other people at some point in order to function in society. Terrible things do happen. And the natural human response is to ask why, to want to find the reason that this thing happened. Hello from Editing Courtney. I don't feel like I quite made my point clear in this video. This video was really hard to film and I was trying to hit a bunch of points, but basically I think what happened with Diva Curl is somewhere along the supply chain, one of their raw ingredients got contaminated. That's the mistake that I think personally happened. We don't know for sure. There were no actual conclusions as to why the products were working so well for people for so long, then all of a sudden were no longer working. There's no real answers. That's my personal take on it. That's the mistake I'm referring to. I think that it is so easy for one of those raw ingredients to get slightly contaminated. This is where we are having to put our trust into a whole bunch of different people when the products are being produced. All right. I think now I've made myself a little bit more clear. Let's finish wrapping up this video. When something goes wrong, we innately understand that it's not the way it was supposed to be. We want justice. We want to fix the situation. So we hunt for the reason, we look for the reason, we find something to blame when something goes wrong. Now, this doesn't mean we don't have some control over our circumstances. We are responsible to some extent for the things that happen. You can't just walk out in front of a bus and expect something bad not to happen. But we also don't have the ability to control everything. We have to do what we can, and the rest is faith. We have not been given a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. That is my approach moving forward. It is easy to watch documentary series in the same vein as Not So Pretty. You sit down, you watch these, you get all riled up, you get real fearful, and that is not the best option for a happy human existence. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know down below in the comments. Let's have a really fun conversation. And if you did like this video, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. It does help me out. Good old YouTube algorithm. And as always, I hope you are having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.